Fast, affordable, convenient. Doctor's Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctor's Hospital. Always there for you. Call 949-6066. And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And now, Barbados. And Digicel. Cayman's bigger, better network.
This is For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Coming to you live from Radio Cayman Studio.
For the record.
For the record. For the record. Hear from your government officials, independents, and the opposition on issues that matter to you. For the record. Engage in an open dialogue between residents and lawmakers.
For the record.
For the record. For the record. Informative, impartial, insightful.
This is your talk show.
1-800-534-8255. Your calls, your input. This is For the Record. And now, your host, Orrett Connor.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. O land of soft, fresh breezes and verdant trees. So fair. Today is the 13th day of December 2023. Sorry. Right here in the beautiful Cayman Islands, we do hope and we trust that everyone had a restful, peaceful, enjoyable evening. Those of you who are on the roads of the Cayman Islands, the very busy roads of the Cayman Islands, and may I say at times very dangerous roads of the Cayman Islands as well, whether you're a pedestrian, a cyclist, or if you're operating in a type of motorized vehicle, we urge you to please, please, please ensure that you observe the rules of the road. Everyone is so busy wanting to accomplish their tasks, want to complete the tasks that they have. Some are wanting to do so that they can leave the island for whatever reason. So everyone is out there busy doing their own thing. But while you're doing your own thing, ensure that you remain safe and that those around you remain safe as well. If you do so, then the life you save may just be your own. For those of you who are celebrating a birthday today, or if you've celebrated one over the past few days, we want to wish you a happy birthday and to remind you that the For the Record birthday shout-outs brought to you by Pizza Boat. They are now open in Queens Court and West Bay Road, so we urge you to hop on board the Pizza Boat Express because they make pizza even more fun. And you know what else? You can have your pizza delivered, or you can pick it up. Simply call 949-0000 or order online via www.pizzaboat.ky. Those of you who have lost loved ones, again, we want to extend our sincere condolences to you. We hope and we trust that your faith will help to carry you through these extremely challenging times and that the memories of your loved ones will be a blessing to you. Those of you who are ill and are either at home or at a medical facility here in the Cayman Islands or overseas, we wish you a speedy recovery. So, folks, I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman and, by extension, For the Record into your homes, into your vehicles as you traverse the busy roads of the Cayman Islands, into your places of work, wherever that may be. As you know, For the Record is a show produced by the staff and management of Radio Cayman, and it is geared towards keeping you abreast of issues as they arise and play out on the local, regional, and international scene. I am your host, Orrett Connor, and you're welcome to join me every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 7:30 a.m. until 10 a.m. During that period, our phone lines are open. This morning again, it is that beautiful radio voice of Miss Susan Watson. You can call us on our toll-free number provided courtesy of Flow. That toll-free number, 1-800-534-8255. You can also call us on 949-8037 and at 949-6990. Email us at fortherecord, one word, fortherecord at candw.ky. WhatsApp us 925-3261, where you can also call us on that number as well. You can follow us on YouTube. You do that by subscribing to Radio Cayman live stream. And, of course, you can follow us on Facebook as well. So let's look at the birthday shout-outs again to remind you that they are brought to you by Pizza Boat. They're open in Queens Court on West Bay Road, so hop on board the Pizza Boat Express because they make pizza even more fun. You can have your pizza delivered or you can pick it up. Simply call 949-0000 or order online via www.pizzaboat.ky. So I'm going to read these shout-outs the way that I've gotten them. This one came in actually real. This person made sure that I received this. So at about almost 4 o'clock this morning, this one came into me, and they're sending out birthday greetings to their son, Mr. Jerry Miss Solomon, his son, that is Jeremy Solomon's son, Jamal Solomon Edwards, and also going out to her niece, Gabby Facey. All three of them celebrating their birthday tomorrow, Thursday, the 14th of December. How about that? You know, having a son, a grandson, and a niece all born on the same day. So she's wishing them God's blessings and a long life coming from their family. Thinking of you. Merry Christmas to you. They're also wishing Merry Christmas to you and all of the staff here at Radio Cayman. And of course, that's coming from Miss Marva Solomon. So birthday greetings to Jeremy Solomon, his son, Jamal Solomon Edwards, niece, Gabby Facey as well. So happy birthday to all. We also have anniversary greetings and anniversary blessings going out to Michael and Janella Edwards as they celebrate their 10th anniversary. And your family, they wish you God's blessing and abundance as well. So that's coming from the family of Mr. Michael and Miss Janella Edwards, who are celebrating their 10th wedding anniversary. With that, we're going to take a commercial break. We do have Dr. Steve McField in the studio with me. So when we return, we will have the introduction and start the conversation before we go off to the 8 o'clock news. So folks, please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
The Cayman Islands boasts of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Historical Vignette Series, brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. The Cayman Islands, He hath founded it upon the seas.
George Haig Bodden, MBE, 1930 to 1995.
George Haig Bodden, MBE. Mr. Haig served as an assistant teacher at the Georgetown School, and from 1948 to 1954 was in charge of the Breakers School. Between 1959 and 1964, he worked for HM Customs. He was the first Caymanian to become a chartered life underwriter and was a lifetime member of the prestigious $1 Million Round Table. He played a leading role in the Boddentown Presbyterian Church concerts, which were very popular, especially during garden parties. Mr. Haig entered Boddentown politics in 1972 and served as an MLA until his death, except for a short break from 1988 to 1990. He served on EXCO from 1976 to 1984 and was responsible for creating the Maritime Conservation Law of 1978 and for establishing the Water Authority. The cadastral survey was also completed during his tenure. He was named Deputy Speaker of the Legislative Assembly. Most of his adult life was dedicated to the service of his country, for which he was awarded the MBE by Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II in 1995. He was married to Loreline Nee Powell, and the couple had 3 children.
Radio Cayman's historical vignettes was brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
Since 1993, Rotary Central has worked diligently each year to provide quality bus shelters to our community. A traveling convenience to our school children, the elderly, young people going to work, guest workers, and visitors using the public bus. We, Rotary Central, help you, our advertisers, make it happen. Your marketing dollar travels a far way. Positioning your message, your product, your services, your presence in over 83 bus shelters. Every dollar you spend, every advert you place helps to build another bus shelter, providing modest comfort for Cayman travelers. Reserve space now on the only billboard medium in the Cayman Islands. Email rotaryshelters@gmail.com. rotaryshelters@gmail.com. The Bus Shelters, a partner in community convenience. Another inspiration program by Rotary Central Cayman Islands.
West Bay Pharmacy in Centennial Towers, a compounding story.
I don't think people realize how pain creeps into your life. It has a way of robbing your strength. I really don't like taking prescription medication orally.
West Bay Pharmacy in Centennial Towers. They understand.
When it comes to compounded medication, it's personal. So whenever there's a problem with some medication or treatments that's not working right, then a physician will call me and say, hey, they're having bad side effects from this medication.
Compounding pain cream changed the game. Made special for me. Significant pain relief in the form of a cream. That is a new experience for me.
It's changed his life.
It worked.
Ask your pharmacist or healthcare provider about compounding at West Bay Pharmacy in Centennial Towers. Call 914-6449.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice-cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
'Twas the days before Christmas in Digicel stores near and far. Stockings were hung with the best tweenie deals by far. A 27-day bundle, it was quite an appeal. With 2 gigabytes any use data, it made Roblox so real. YouTube and Disney Plus, oh what a delight. Boys and girls were entertained from morning till night. Endless messaging, a connection so dear. Staying in touch with parents, oh what a cheer. Visit a Digicel store today, where dreams come true this holiday season.
Can you imagine your home completely organized? At Brand Source Custom Closets, we can. We specialize in designing and building custom closets and storage units for any room in your home, including the garage. With tailored designs and custom LED lighting solutions to fit your lifestyle and budget. Our Custom Closets expert is committed to enhancing the value of your home with a solution that is uniquely yours. Visit our showroom or call 623-6774 to schedule a no-obligation appointment with our design expert. Brand Source Custom Closets, 209 Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park.
I love Pizza Boat. It's yummy. It has my 2 favorite things combined, cheese and boats. Pizza Boat makes pizza way more fun.
Hop on board the Pizza Boat Express. Kids, now Pizza Boat makes pizza even more fun. Lunch or dinner, let Pizza Boat bring the fun. Pizza Boat, a Cayman twist to pizza, bringing fusion ingredients from all over the globe to give you locally inspired fresh pizzas all day, every day. Pizza Boat, now open in Queens Court on West Bay Road. Pick up or delivery 949-0000 or order online www.pizzaboat.ky.
System 1 loaded.
1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the record.
This is For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, Dr. Steve McField. I'm going to throw the mic over to him in a few seconds. Just want to recognize a few other persons who are celebrating their birthday today. So we have Mr. Marvin Watson celebrating his birthday. Miss Samantha McLaughlin, Kristen A. Martin, Marcia Marie Clark Smith. Yesterday, okay, I think I did that one on Monday as well. Sidale Simi celebrated a birthday yesterday as well. So again, happy birthday to all of those persons celebrating their birthday. Remember, whatever you do, please ensure that you do it in moderation as well. So, I don't know. Did I do this one last week? Sorry, not last week. Yes, on Monday. Let's just repeat it just in case. So, Mr. Jurel was celebrating his birthday. That's Miss Jewel's grandson, and he celebrated a birthday on Monday. So in the event that we missed that, let's want to wish Jurel a belated happy birthday as well. So Doc, good morning. Welcome.
Good morning to you, Mr. For the Record, and good morning to all your listeners in from the record land and those who listen to you Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and those in the Cayman diaspora also. Good morning. It's good to be back. Someone was telling me that they read an article in one of the media outlets, which stated to the effect. I'm not repeating verbatim what the article was, but this is what they were trying to get across to me, that the Honorable Premier has said that she intends to get adequate funding for Radio Cayman because it was her favorite radio station. Something to that effect?
Yes, she did mention that. I don't remember the exact words, but that she was going to ensure that Radio Cayman gets adequate funding.
Yes.
And, of course, there's been some sort of kickback from on the outside in relation to that. But what... well, you go ahead and I'll have my say.
Yeah, well, it's just a government radio station.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's a government radio station, and it should be funded by government. And the reason why I brought that up is because I hope that the management of Radio Cayman is gonna I wouldn't say force her, but it's gonna call her up and try to keep her word, because we need more educational programs on Radio Cayman, and especially on Saturdays, where it's a blind day. And all we do is play music for Western country and Western music, which is number 1 and number 2, number 3, number 4, which really doesn't do much for listeners. And I would like to see programs on the radio similar to C-SPAN. You know, C-SPAN in the States, the government radio station in America, similar to C-SPAN. That's a great thing.
Extremely informative, yes.
Yeah, that's a great thing if she's gonna fund it, and I hope they hold her to it. And I know she's an honorable person, and I have no doubt that she's gonna come through with what she said. That's really good.
Well, what people have to realize is that Radio Cayman, the longest radio station in the Cayman Islands, we have a legacy here at Radio Cayman. And while others may brag about being number one in this and number one in that, at the end of the day, Radio Cayman is the people's radio station. So many people rely on it. And, you know, one may argue that as to whether or not at Radio Cayman we're concerned about the statistics and the number of listeners and viewers that we get. And for advertising purposes, that is extremely important.
Yes.
Now, Radio Cayman while I'm not sure about the finances, so I'm not sure whether or not it is self-sufficient. But if the decision was made that we're not going to ask Radio Cayman to rely on commercial advertising, and we're going to fund this station for the people of the Cayman Islands, there would be absolutely nothing wrong with that.
Of course, it's providing a service to the community, and it's government owned, and it's the people's radio station, and the people's taxes that they pay and that they collect goes to service the radio station. I just don't understand what the problem is. But anyway, just put that aside. The other point I'd like to make to you before we go to the news break is that when we were here the last time, you remember, we were here with Dr. Livingston and Mr. Roy Bodden from the...
and we had Mr. Gilbert and Mr. Reeser on the phone.
We were talking about the legacy of Mr. Armand O.L. Panton. And one prominent person, Mr. Gilbert McLean, who was a former minister and teacher and stuff, called in and say he wanted to clarify that Cayman was not a dependence of Jamaica. And then some other people remarked that to me too off the radio. And of course, Cayman was not dependent on Jamaica. But we were discussing this before the radio. We came on this morning, and you had the correct wording of the 1963 Cayman Act. The 1863 Cayman Act that was passed that gave Jamaica legislature the power to make laws for the peace, order, and good governance of Cayman, and the governor of Cayman would be the governor of Jamaica. You remember what it said?
Yes, it says basically that the Cayman Islands were administered as if they were a part of Jamaica.
Yes.
Now, for historical purposes, what people have to realize is that the period of time that we're referring to, Jamaica itself was not independent.
That's right.
Jamaica itself was a colony.
Yes.
So the Cayman Islands and the Turks and Caicos Islands enjoyed the same status, with Jamaica as being governed as if they were a part of Jamaica. That is, as if you were a parish of Jamaica or whatever.
Yes. And so, because of that kind of administration, the colonial office at the time, named that kind of administration a dependency.
Yes.
That is where the words came from. That is why in the history books it always say dependent Turks and Caicos and Cayman under dependencies of Jamaica. It didn't mean that we were dependent on Jamaica. It means that is how the English classified that kind of relationship between the two islands with Jamaica.
Exactly. Okay. Folks, top of the hour, 8 o'clock news. When we return, the conversation with Dr. Steve McField will continue. We'll have an open mic as well. So if you want to join in the conversation, please feel free to do so after we return from the 8 o'clock news.
Thank you, Mr. Connor. And studio time by Fawn Stearns is 8 o'clock.
Grab a card. It's the 30K Jolly Grocery Giveaway at Foster's. This Christmas, we're spreading some holly jolly cheer by filling one lucky shopper's cart with $10,000 worth of groceries. Just purchase any 2 specially marked products from now until December 23rd for a chance to win your share of 30K worth of groceries. Go to fosters.ky/jolly for more info. Thanks to Waitrose, Quaker, Frito-Lay, Garnier, Certified Angus Beef, and Sun City. Have a holly jolly Christmas at Foster's.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com.
For today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
We
With your latest news, I'm Carsley Fuller.
The call volume for 911 has consistently increased over the past 3 years.
Speaking in Parliament on the Department of Public Safety Communication, Home Affairs Minister the Honourable Sabrina Turner told MPs there were just over 58,000 calls to 911 logged in 2021 and just under 100,000 registered between January and August of this year. Minister Turner says a top priority in the years to come is the, quote, maintenance of the communication infrastructure.
Now, this includes the completion of the new communication tower in Northwood, the acquisition of the state-of-the-art radio system and dispatch consoles, the necessary software upgrades as well. Now, these improvements, Mr. Speaker, will enable us to continue responding swiftly and effectively during emergencies, thus saving lives and reducing property damage.
Minister Turner says the goal for the upcoming financial years is to maintain and protect two systems that have been integral to local emergency response, the computer-aided dispatch system and the national CCTV program. This week, the Cabinet Office released the summary from Cabinet's November 7th meeting. Some notable decisions include the approval for the Cayman Islands Monetary Authority to partner with the Cayman Islands Sea Life Coin Series program. Some budget shifting as well, moving $500,000 from the budget for scholarship medical and $556,000 from the budget for University of the West Indies membership levy to the line item Education, Early Childhood and Support Services. Cabinet also gave the green light for an additional $600,000 for the management of public recreations facilities and cemeteries budget. This is to cover the costs associated with the Winter National Community Enhancement Project. At this meeting, they also pulled $2.17 million for the courthouse budget, redistributing it within the judiciary to things like personal emoluments, expenses, support for court proceedings, and judicial administration. Cabinet also approved a monthly remuneration for the Cayman National Attractions Authority Board of $600 for the chair, $400 for the deputy, and $200 for members. And the Department of Labor and Pensions website gets a facelift. Radio Cayman's Felicia Rankin-Solins reports.
The site features easy-to-find information on its key featured articles, frequently asked questions, fillable PDF forms, and brochures. It showcases a suite of new features including a new training calendar, publications library, and electronic calculator, with more to follow. This site also highlights its entire team, including its respective units, as well as the membership of the National Pensions Board, Labor Tribunal, and Labor Appeals Tribunal. It also features a new section for the pension plan administrators to make it easier to find their contact information for pension-related inquiries. In the coming months, the site will be updated to offer additional calculators such as the pensions calculator, the maternity leave calculator, and vacation leave calculator, and more information to add greater value to its strong position in the labor market as the national regulator for labor and pensions compliance and enforcement. See it for yourself by visiting gov.ky/DLP. I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins.
Now with a check of international news, here's the BBC, which takes us out of the newscast. I'm Carsley Fuller.
BBC News with Debbie Russ. The UN Climate Summit in Dubai has adopted the first ever global call for the world to transition away from fossil fuels. There's been a mixed reaction. An Arab bloc, including Saudi Arabia, called the deal a great success. The former US Vice President Al Gore, a prominent environmentalist, said it contained half measures and loopholes that betrayed what he called the influence of petrostates. The UN's Food Agency says Sudan has the highest level of hunger ever recorded during the harvest season. It said Sudan was edging towards a hunger catastrophe after war broke out between two factions of the security forces. Two men who jumped into the lower house of the Indian Parliament and let off smoke canisters have been detained by police. It comes on the 22nd anniversary of an assault on the complex by Pakistan-based militants. The Health Ministry in Gaza says its supply of vaccines for children has run out and it urgently needs more deliveries. 85% of the population has been displaced by the war with Israel. Intense fighting is continuing in both the north and south of Gaza. BBC News.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com.
You don't sound too good there, Bobo.
Yeah, you know how it is. With the kids back in school, every other week they come in now with something, and then I catch it.
Sound like it catch you. But for real, brother, flu season is here and COVID is still around. you gotta stock up on things like medicine, vitamins, and minerals for you and the kids. You know what they say, prevention is better than cure.
At ValueMed, our pharmacists can help manage flu symptoms and provide guidance on vitamins and minerals to best support you and your family's overall health. Visit ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road or Town, or WhatsApp your questions and prescription refills to ValueMed on Walkers Road at 926-1662 or WhatsApp ValueMed in Town at 916-5511. Live happy, live healthy with ValueMed Pharmacy.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman with the latest up-to-date, accurate news and information. For your convenience, the headline news will be repeated on our sister station, Breeze 105.3 FM, weekdays at 8:30 a.m. Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or download the Radio Cayman app in the App Store or log on to www.radiocayman.gov.ky and stay connected to what's happening in the community. Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
Let me tell you something. I've been fishing our island since I was a boy, and it's getting harder and harder to get a good catch. Maybe it's because there are so many more people in Cayman than ever before. Maybe it's because of how the climate is changing. I don't know about that, but I do know that I want to be able to keep fishing and teach my children to fish one day as well. So it makes sense to me that we have certain areas and certain times of the year to fish for certain things. A new rule was placed on fishing for grouper that says no one can fish for Nassau or grouper anywhere in Cayman from December 1st to April 30th while they're spawning. There is also no fishing allowed at all for any kinds of fish in the spawning zones, and no scuba diving there either. It feels unfair not to be allowed to fish where my dad had taught me to fish, but I know that being patient now means we can keep fishing for many more generations. We're all in this together, right?
For more info, download the Cayman DOE app or visit doe.ky.
Tune in every Monday through Friday at 12 p.m. for Radio Cayman's Midday Newscast. Radio Cayman, the people's station, your trusted official source for the latest news. The 12 p.m. news is proudly brought to you by Health City Cayman Islands. World-class healthcare within your reach.
The 8 a.m. weather report brought to you by CG Britcay, where people come first.
Pleasant good morning. Let's take a look at the latest weather report. Current temperature is 82 degrees. Relative humidity is 73%. The barometric pressure is 29.99 inches and rising. The wind is out of the northeast at 16 knots. Overnight low temperature was 81 degrees. Synopsis indicate cloudiness and showers expected to linger over the next 24 hours as a stationary front lingers just east of the Cayman area. Fresh winds and rough seas are also expected as the associated high-pressure system builds over the southeast United States, increasing the pressure gradient across the northwest Caribbean. Satellite images show multi-level clouds spreading across the Cayman area. Now, the forecast for the Cayman Islands for today and tonight is calling for cloudy skies with a 40% chance of showers. Temperatures will be in the mid-80s and will fall to the mid-70s tonight. Winds will be northeast at 15 to 20 knots and seas will be rough with wave heights of 4 to 6 feet. Small craft should exercise caution over open water for today and tonight as well. High tide will be this morning at 10:27, low tide this afternoon at 4:29, and a high tide again tonight at 11 minutes past 9. The sun will set this evening at 5:48 and will rise tomorrow morning at 6:51. And the outlook is calling for a decrease in shower activity from tomorrow morning as the stationary front weakens. Fresh winds and rough seas are expected to continue through Friday afternoon, with a small craft advisory remaining in effect. And that's the very latest on your weather report.
Hi, my AC just went out and I need someone to come fix it.
I'm sorry, we're closed.
Okay, what about tomorrow?
We're only open on Thursday, and we're fully booked.
Have anything next week?
No.
Okay, when can you send someone out?
The 22nd is open.
I'll take it.
Of December 2023.
With the best medical cover for your dollar, we're like an AC technician who isn't too busy for you. CG Britcay. Good like that.
The 8 a.m. weather report brought to you by CG Britcay,
where people come first.
During these unprecedented times, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Cayman Strong Series. The Cayman Strong Series is brought to you by Encourse Cayman. Visit encourse.ky to view a full list of wellness services and their qualified team. Encourse Cayman, health, wellness, and happiness.
Change your thinking, change your life. There's no great success without commitment.
As motivational speaker Tony Robbins said, individuals who succeed have a belief in the power of commitment. If there's a single belief that seems almost inseparable from success, it's that there's no great success without commitment. If you look at successful people in any field, you'll find they're not necessarily the best and the brightest, the fastest and the strongest. You'll find they're the ones with the most commitment.
Change your thinking. Change your life.
Radio Cayman's Cayman Strong Series was brought to you by Encourse Cayman. Visit encourse.ky to view a full list of wellness services and their qualified team. Encourse Cayman, health, wellness, and happiness.
These days, feelings of loneliness, anxiety, stress, and depression can be overwhelming. Just know you are not alone. Encourse Cayman offers private mental health services for children, teens, adults, and groups. Visit encourse.ky to view a full list of wellness services and their qualified team. Encourse Cayman, health, wellness, and happiness.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Enjoy a delicious start to your day with breakfast from Subway.
And by National Road Safety. Be empowered. Help make our roads safe. Take the road to zero. Say no more to road fatalities in 2024.
Good morning. Let's take a look at what's happening on our roads. Heavy traffic coming off of the Esterly-Tibbetts Highway. Shamrock Road, traffic is steady, as well as on the Linford-Pearson Highway. And Cool Road heading to Georgetown, steady but flowing traffic. And steady traffic coming off of Bobby Thompson Way, as well as Agnes Way. On the West Bay Road, traffic is moderate in both directions. From the West Bay 4-way stop, flowing pretty good. Free-flowing traffic on Godfrey Nixon Way and Eastern Avenue. And on Owen Roberts Drive, traffic is moderate in both directions. That's the very latest on your traffic. Join us again at about 10 minutes after 12. We'll give you another traffic report.
Speeding is the highest cause of fatalities on Cayman's roads.
Brother, watch how fast my new car goes. Got it.
But what if
he hadn't been speeding?
his friends hadn't been encouraging him?
What if we all just took the time to slow down and think? What if, as a community, we rose to the challenge of keeping our roads safe?
What if we all walked the road to zero
and decided no more in 2024?
It's game time, Subway fans. We're upping our sub game with the all-new Subway Series menu, an all-star lineup of 6 delicious recipes. Just order by name or number and we'll do the rest. Whether you're catching a quick lunch or just need a tasty victory, the Subway Series menu is coming in clutch. Subway Series, easy to order, hard to resist. Try it today, only at Subway. Eat fresh.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Enjoy a delicious start to your day with breakfast from Subway.
And by National Road Safety. Be empowered. Help make our roads safe. Take the road to zero. Say no more to road fatalities in 2024.
Ho, ho, ho! Hi, kids! Santa here, letting you know that I can't wait to see you all again at my grotto at Bayshore Mall. I'll be there with my friends from Kirk Freeport from Monday the 18th December until Friday 22nd. I'll be there between 3 and 7 p.m. every day, except Friday, where I will be there earlier between 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. Along with sweet treats, Santa will have a special gift for every boy and girl, and there will be popcorn, cotton candy, and Christmas music filling the air. Merry Christmas! See you soon at Bayshore Mall. Love, Santa and everyone at Kirk Freeport.
Water Authority Cayman wishes to advise its customers and the motoring public of wastewater infrastructure upgrade works on the intersection of West Bay Road and Canal Point Drive adjacent to the Strand. These works are anticipated to last for 3 to 4 weeks. During this time, access to the southbound lane along West Bay Road will be somewhat but not entirely restricted. Traffic control measures will be in place to maintain two-way traffic throughout the works. Traffic signs will be in place in the general vicinity of the works. All motorists are asked to drive with caution. The Water Authority appreciates the patience and understanding of its customers and the public as it upgrades its wastewater infrastructure and do apologize for any inconvenience caused.
The Ministry of Education invites all eligible Caymanians to apply for its overseas scholarship for the 2024-2025 academic year. To apply for an overseas scholarship or learn more about the various scholarship offerings, please visit the Scholarship Secretariat Unit's online scholarship application portal at www.moescholarships.gov.ky. Applications close on Wednesday, 31st of January, 2024.
Deck the halls with beautiful furniture and decor without breaking the bank. Enter the Beacon Furniture Holiday Raffle and win big. That's right, shop at Beacon Furniture and you can be our next winner. With each purchase, customers have a chance to win $500 in Beacon cash. Don't miss out on this incredible opportunity to spruce up your home for the holidays. Join us on December 30th for the drawing at each location. 2 lucky winners will be chosen, one at our Savannah store and another at our Red Bay location. Each winner will walk away with $500 in Beacon credit. Don't wait, start shopping today. To learn more about the Beacon Furniture Holiday Raffle, visit our website beaconfurniture.ky or come by our stores. 2 locations, 32 Hurst Road, Savannah. Call 945-2348 or 386 Shamrock Road in Prospect. Call 943-2500. Good luck and happy shopping.
For the record with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. It is my pleasure to have Dr. Steve McField in the studio with me as well. This is the second to last show for the year. That is For the Record. So good to have him in the studio as well. To remind all of you that our Parliament is still in session. They're still meeting, dealing the budget and throne speech debate taking place. And of course, at some point in time, they will go into Finance Committee to deal with the budget line item of the budget as well. So at some point in time during the course of the show this morning, I'm going to discuss with Dr. McField again that the whole issue of the speakership. We're seeing more and more chatter, more dialogue in relation to the speakership, but not only that, in general terms as well, about national elections and whether or not we should have at-large seats similar to what several of our sister overseas territories have as well. And for those of you who have an interest in it, a few days ago there was an article in Cayman News Service website about that as well. It is certainly worth reading, but at least the discussion is starting to take place in terms of looking at other options, as as far as our elections and the electing of our representatives in Parliament goes. Just want to let our listeners know that we will open up the phone lines in after the next commercial break, because we're going to have Dr. Steve McField share with us the what he mentioned earlier, an act for the government of the Cayman Islands, colloquially known as the Cayman Act, the Act of 1863. Actually, it was enacted on the 22nd of June, 1863. Doc, over to you.
Yeah, it was an act of parliament in the British Parliament, and paragraph 1 of the act ratified all the stuff that the vestry of the Justice and the Vestry had done in Cayman from 1831 until 1833, because remember that Cayman had taken their own independence and had gone on to forge relationships with the United States and Denmark and Sweden and all that, and had their own
Caymans
and had their own consul general in Cayman from the United States and their own consul general from Denmark and Sweden. And this act came about after they went to Jamaica to present their credentials to the government of Jamaica to say that they were now representing the United States in Cayman. And that pissed off the governor of Jamaica and the people in Jamaica administering, and they wrote to England and say, this state of affairs cannot continue with these gentlemen down in Cayman. So what the first paragraph of the act did, it actually pardoned the Vestry and justices for doing what they did without the king's permission,
and ratified the legislation that they placed.
And ratify all the decisions they made. The second paragraph of the act, and I'm going to read that because that's very important. It says, it shall be competent to the legislature of Jamaica to make laws for the peace, order, and good government of the said islands, and by such laws to alter, repeal all or any of the aforesaid acts or resolutions, and also to give the justices and the vestry or other body of persons in the said islands such power making laws or regulations for local purposes within the same as to the said legislative may seem fit. But then there was a proviso. There's a proviso that gave the vestry power to continue what they were doing until otherwise. And Section 3 says, until it shall be otherwise provided by the said legislature, it shall be lawful, that the legislature of Jamaica, it shall be lawful for the said vestry and just in the vestry, that's the vestry, the government in Cayman, in their accustomed manner or in such other manner as shall be prescribed in writing, under the hand and seat of the governor of Jamaica, to make such regulations as to them shall seem fit for the following purposes. That is to say, respecting their own constitution and procedure, respecting the powers and duties of public officers, and especially respecting the powers, functions, and procedure of justices of the peace and officers acting under their authority, and respecting appeals from the decisions of such justices to the Supreme Court of Jamaica, respecting the establishment of maintenance, discipline, and powers of the police, respecting the management, occupation, and disposal of the public property on common sale, respecting the abatement of nuisance and construction of works of public utility, making of roads and cleaning of streets and houses and other matters affecting the health of or convenience of the community, respecting the custody of offenders and accused persons, respecting the imposition and collection of rates and taxes, and respecting the custody and expenditure of the proceeds. So, although the legislature of Jamaica had power to make laws for the order and good governance of Cayman, they gave us this power to regulate our own affairs also until otherwise was made. And as far as we were concerned, nothing otherwise was made until 1962.
What was interested in that?
And then let's read the most important one here that you point out to me. It says, the officers administering the government of Jamaica shall have, as far as may be, the same powers and authorities in respect of the said islands as if the same had been part of the islands of Jamaica.
Right.
That is where we get the dependency question from. That people say that the British government, what they did, they interpret that to say that we were under Section 6, that we were a dependency of Jamaica. But it doesn't mean that we were dependent of Jamaica, because we were doing all of these other things that I have read before that we were still doing by the Justice on Vestry. What it says, that the officers administering the government of Jamaica, which was the governor of Jamaica, shall have, as far as may be, the same powers and authorities in respect of the said islands as if the same had been part of the island of Jamaica. So he had the same powers to administer Cayman Islands as if we were part of Jamaica. But we were never a dependency of Jamaica.
Per se.
We were always independent of Jamaica. And even the law here is saying so, because it gives us all these powers to do
and to make the regulations.
And to make the regulation.
What I found
and it says respecting our own constitution.
What I found interesting as well.
procedure.
What I found interesting as well, Doc. This proviso in here says that, provided always that no justice of the peace shall, by virtue of any such regulation, try any suit or action without the consent of the parties thereto, in which the value of the matter in dispute shall exceed £100, or take cognizance of any capital crime, nor sentence any offender to the payment of a fine of more than £50, or imprisonment for a longer term than 12 months. So it restricted the breadth of what the justices could do. It's almost like you having a magistrate's court and having a grand court, having a court of appeals and whatever.
But you know where that came from?
Okay.
In 1831, when Watler and the other gentleman wrote the letter up to the governor of Jamaica, asking him to put these things in place, give him these powers to do these things. One of the things they asked for was to extend the remit of the petty court to administer fines and to put people in prison. You remember that? And the governor of Jamaica said he couldn't do that. That was unlawful for them. But they came and they did it themselves. And so this prohibited them from administering any kind of fines, and they were limited in what they could do. In other words, they limited the petty court. That's what it was called then. They limit their jurisdiction, the same as we have today in the law, where for instance, the Supreme Court and the Grand Court has different jurisdictions. They are limited. That's what they did, because we had taken all these things on ourselves, and we had sentenced people in jail for 9 months and 1 year and all that sort of stuff. And you remember, after that came, you could not sentence anyone in Cayman for over 9 months. They had to serve it in Jamaica.
Yeah, it wasn't served here in Cayman.
Okay.
Yep.
So this law was all comprehensive. This 1863 law was all comprehensive, and this set out, and this was the thing that broke the camel's back, that severed the ties between Jamaica and made the Caymanian people even more adamant to get from under the administration of the governor of Jamaica and the Jamaica legislature. And that came in 1962 when Jamaica became independent. We saw our chance, and that is the reason why we have that great cleavage, that great severance, and where we went our own way.
Okay. Now,
even though it was not done democratically, because
and we're going to talk about that. Later.
Mr. Ormond Children reminded me that it was not a democratic vote, because they reminded me also that Governor Blackburn, when he came to say, they gave the pros and cons of how we were going to separate from Jamaica, from under the administration of Jamaica, cast it in racial terms, because he said It's either a black ball or a white ball. There is no gray ball. The black ball means if you go with Jamaica, this is what you're going to get. The white ball means if you go with England, this is what you're going to get. And this is what you're not going to get. And when he put it that way, if you choose the black ball or the white ball, and the people, he said, all who chose to go with Jamaica, choose the black ball to go with Jamaica, and all who choose to clap their hands.
Right, it was by applause.
By applause.
And he determined which
applause was the loudest. And he determined which applause was the loudest. And he said that the applause to accept the white ball, which to go with England to become a Concolin, was the loudest, and that carried the day. Yep. And they reminded me that was part of the conspiracy to get Mr. Orrett Connor out of power.
Okay, now some of our listeners may have an interest in this, others may not. But just to remind you now, whenever you're going to use the phrases again in terms of whether or not the Cayman Islands were a dependency of Jamaica, the proper phraseology to be used is that by virtue of the Cayman Islands Act, the Act of 1863, the Cayman Islands were governed as if they had been part of the island of Jamaica.
Yes.
Okay. Folks, let's take the commercial break. Phone lines will be open afterwards. Please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
Happy holidays and Merry Christmas. 'Tis the season to be merry and healthy in the Cayman Islands. At Doctors Hospital and Integra Healthcare, we're not just a hospital and clinic with a talented group of local and international healthcare professionals. We're your partners in well-being throughout the year. So may your holidays be filled with the soothing sounds of the ocean, the embrace of good health, and a commitment to a healthier tomorrow. From all of us at Doctors Hospital and Integra Healthcare, we wish you and your loved ones happy holidays and a wonderful new year.
You know, as a little girl, I dreamt of traveling to faraway places and foreign lands. I tell you what though, no more dreaming. I'm going flying with Cayman Airways. How blessed are we in the Cayman Islands to have a very own national airline? Girl, you can fly to so many international destinations without the hassle of connecting flights. On top of Jamaica, Cuba, and Honduras, you got non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, and even Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, and child, they now have Barbados. Going to be a little cafe con leche and Hollywood Squares for this old gal.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering non-stop flights for non-stop adventures in Panama, LA, and many more places in between. For details and to book, call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
Your dream home starts with a vision, and often inspiration is at the heart of that vision. Brand Source Home Gallery's in-house designers are here to help bring your vision to life. Whether you're remodeling or building a new home, Brand Source Home Gallery is your one-stop solution. Explore their kitchen cabinets, sinks, faucets, bath fixtures, tubs, vanities, and more. Let Brand Source's designers help and inspire you with your next project. Call 623-5000 and schedule an appointment with a design expert at Brand Source Home Gallery, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park, serving Cayman for 50 years.
Jingle all the way into the season of incredible savings and wish granting with Digicel. This Christmas, get 25% off your Prime Bundle plan or postpaid bill for the next 6 months. With plans featuring social data, entertainment data, and more, Digicel keeps you connected and entertained all season long. But here's the real magic. Digicel could make your Christmas wish come true. Win a prize of your choice, from getting your rent paid to a new laptop or even a brand new car. Visit a Digicel store today, where dreams come true this holiday season.
'Tis the season at Vigoro, and we've got all your festive favorites. From Christmas ornaments to decorations, succulents to ceramics. We've got gifts and more. Blooms, orchids, mobiles, garden accessories, furniture, even fairy gardens for the little ones. Make it a Vigoro Christmas with a gift that will be treasured forever. Both garden centers will be open on Christmas Eve till 5 p.m. Merry Christmas from Vigoro.
System 1 loaded. 1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the Record.
This is For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. And Susan, any calls? No calls at this point in time. Okay, Doc.
Yeah, we wanted to discuss the speakership too. Remember?
Yes. Yeah, you take the lead on that for me, please.
Yes, you were speaking a few. I think it was on Monday.
Monday, yeah.
You were speaking about the speakership, and you were in conversation with some of your callers about the speakership. And I agree with what you said about the speakership being separate from the legislature, and therefore there's no reason why we could not have an election for a speaker by vote from outside instead of inside the House. And the only thing that would remain would be that the speaker then would have to be sworn in. The first thing that would happen when the legislature meets after election, or after a vote of no confidence, was to have the speaker sworn in. Because this is what the Constitution says, Section 60.
Mm-hmm.
It says, the Parliament shall consist of the Speaker, if say A, the Speaker name is semicolon, this separates him from the rest, or her from the rest. 19 elected members who shall be persons qualified for election in accordance with the Constitution and elected in a manner provided for in a law enacted for the purposes of Section 93. And E, the Deputy Governor and the Attorney General ex officio. Now let's stop there for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
It says the Speaker, and that's a semicolon, which closes that paragraph off, and then B, 19 elected members who shall be persons qualified for election in accordance with the Constitution and elected in a manner provided for in a law enacted for the purposes of Section 93, and the Deputy Governor and the Attorney General. Now, if the Constitution says 19 elected members, but the Speaker is separate, why include the Speaker into the 19 elected members? That is my position.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Although the Constitution said that the Speaker is separate, we have concluded him into the 19 elected members. And then it goes on to say, a law made under Section 859 may increase the number of elected members of the Legislative Assembly, but no such law shall come into force. A, unless an order by the governor providing for the electoral districts and their boundaries to take account of the additional elected members according with Section 8 and 9 has been made, and until the dissolution of the Legislative Assembly, next allowing this enactment of such law. What that means is that once the Boundary Commission under Section 9 recommend another seat should be added on to the legislature, to the Parliament, the governor will do it. But the increase would not come into effect until after the next election. But here it is set out in the law. The Speaker is separate from the 19 elected members of the Legislative Assembly, but yet we are still including the Speaker in the 19 elected members of the Legislative Assembly. And that was because the Speaker could come from inside the House or from outside the House. Mm-hmm. And there's no reason why we just can't have a quick amendment to the Constitution that says the Speaker should be instead of appointed from outside the house,
chosen by
should be chosen by the popular vote.
Okay.
That is what I agree with you too.
Thank you very much for that. We do have a caller. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Hey, good morning, O.C. How you doing?
Good morning. I'm fine. How are you? How are things over there?
Oh, nice and cool. Can I get it no better than this? Good morning there, Dr. Frank.
Dr. Steve.
Dr. Steve.
Yeah, good morning.
Yeah, good morning to you. Good morning. Just regarding your topic there this morning, when you started off speaking regarding the Jamaica issue there.
Yes.
One of the things I always say, and I never hear mentioned on the radio regarding anything to do with one of our past representatives who came on Brock, which was Captain Keith Tibbetts.
Yes.
He was very, very, very legit to his islands, all three islands. And in 1969, when Mr. Tibbetts was appointed Justice of the Peace, and he served as a veteran and a member of the Legislative Assembly building. Sorry, my tongue was getting tangled up here a little bit. For a total of 26 years, he served there. During his tenure or as politician, he continued to lobby was improved. In the improvements to our islands is what his focus was. When notably, he petitioned the Legislative Assembly with signatures of almost 400 Cayman Brockers, stating that they wish to remain a crown colony rather than follow Jamaica's roots of independence. Throughout his many years of dedicated service, he was also served as several boards and in the community, including the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association, the Education Board, and so forth, and all those different boards he served on. You know, he served these islands and he protected these islands from going independence with Jamaica to come away from that. But today we don't hear nothing regarding Captain Keith Tibbetts for his tenure of what he did for these three islands. The people overlook him. Even our own people here on the Brock overlook him. And I've been harking about him now for months regarding people taking him as a veteran, as a hero, and he is not recognized as a hero for Cayman Brock for what he has done, not for just Cayman Brock, for Little Cayman and Grand Cayman.
Caller, would you have any suggestions as to why that is happening, why he's not being recognized, and a conjecture on that?
Well, I had good information from a good source, and I can't reveal that on the radio, but if I was face-to-face with you, I would be able to tell you so.
Okay.
And we know that we have a lot of other members from these islands that should be known as national heroes for this island, that brought the Cayman Islands away from devastation of where we would be if we had followed the route of where Jamaica has led. And we has come away from that from down in the 70s. And today we are not recognizing the ones in Cayman Brock that has done anything to save these islands from what they would have been to what they are today. And I know a lot of those members, older seamen, older men, Captain Mayburn, the rest of them, and they are not recognized as national heroes. And it's sad in my book to know that I, as young as I am, have to be reminding the people that these are the people that protected the Cayman Islands and kept us, like what Dr. Steve is saying, to know that these people have the Cayman Islands today where they stand. But we forget. We tend to forget. And we sing of the national songs, it's parts of not being forgotten where we come from. And these things, we forgot where we came from. And I would love to know that something is being done and something could be implemented. And to me, giving the credit to Captain Keith Tibbetts for what he had done during that time, because he had done a lot. I could sit down, and I can read you a half an hour of his history, and you would be shocked to know the things that man done that are not even known to us here in the Cayman Islands.
Well, sir, I can concur with you on the stature and the contribution of Captain Keith. He was a friend of mine, a very good friend of mine. Every time I came to the Brac, I spent time visiting him, sitting by his hammock to listen to him and to gain my knowledge from him. But one of the flaws in the whole argument, one of the flaws in the argument that Captain Keith put forward was the fact that Cayman was going into independence with Jamaica. That was not a fact. And you can read your history, and but you cannot have your own history. You cannot have your own fact of history. The history is there in black and white. What Jamaica said, that because they were administering us, they would give us in full internal self-government. And the only impediment that we had for taking full internal self-government was that we did not have external affair offices, and that we did not have an army to protect us, and that they would provide that for us for £20,000 a year, and we would have a lieutenant governor, a cabinet, chief minister, the whole thing, a modern government. Or we could become a crown colony, directly ruled by Britain, which we never were before. And there were people like Dr. Roy McTaggart and all of those other people who did not want to see Mr. Orrett Connor as being the first chief minister of Cayman. Turn that around and says if that happened, we would go into independence with Jamaica. That was not what was said. That was not what Blackburn said. What Blackburn said, he was giving us our full internal self-government, not going into independence with Jamaica. And it was that lie that was told that caused Captain Keith to get the petition up in Cayman Brac to say if we were going in independence with Jamaica, that Cayman Brac would succeed from Cayman, from Grand Cayman. And I applaud him for that. And for that, but that whole thing was predicated on a big lie and a big conspiracy to keep Mr. Ormond out from being the first chief minister of Cayman.
Okay.
The Cayman Islands.
Caller, I want to thank you very much for that. We have to go to a commercial break, but I also want to add the fact that Radio Cayman, in its historical vignettes, we have been featuring Captain Keith,
yes.
As well, at least keeping his
legacy alive that way. He was one of the people along with Mr. Orrett that caused the surveyor system to come into
force.
Introduced.
Okay, folks, please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
Jingle all the way into the season of incredible savings and wish granting with Digicel. This Christmas, get 25% off your Prime Bundle plan or postpaid bill for the next 6 months. With plans featuring social data, entertainment data, and more, Digicel keeps you connected and entertained all season long. But here's the real magic. Digicel could make your Christmas wish come true. Win a prize of your choice, from getting your rent paid to a new laptop or even a brand new car. Visit a Digicel store today, where dreams come true this holiday season.
You know, as a little girl, I dreamt of traveling to faraway places and foreign lands. I tell you what though, no more dreaming. I go in flying with Cayman Airways. How blessed are we in the Cayman Islands to have a very own national airline? Girl, you can fly to so many international destinations without the hassle of connecting flights. On top of Jamaica, Cuba, and Honduras, you got non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, and even Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, and child, they now have Barbados. Going to be a little cafe con leche and Hollywood Squares for this old girl.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering non-stop flights for non-stop adventures in Panama, LA, and many more places in between. For details and to book, call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
What's going on? When they don't know what they want for Christmas, where do you go? Cellular World. When they do know what they want for Christmas, where do you go? Cellular World. When you need a new phone, where do you go? Cellular World. Who has the biggest selection of phone cases, headphones, and accessories? Cellular World. Who has the best service for mobile phone repairs? Cellular World. This holiday season, shop Cellular World, Cayman's one-stop shop for phones, accessories, and repairs. Located in Baytown Plaza, West Bay Road, across from the wharf. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year from Cellular World.
This is your Deputy Governor, Franz Manderson. As an advocate for physical and mental wellness, I applaud everyone who takes the time to exercise outdoors. If you choose to walk, run, or jog along the streets in your community, especially after dark, I encourage you to take adequate precautions. Wear light or reflective clothing, consider clip-on lights, and avoid running in areas of high motor traffic. Our government and its agencies are working to reduce accidents on our roads. Remember to play your part. Your safety and your wellness go hand in hand.
The Lions Club of Grand Cayman is pleased to present their annual All-Island Children Christmas Party, Sunday, December 17th from 1 to 4 p.m. at the Lions Community Center. Presents, games, bouncy castles, and more for children 12 and under. Busing will be provided in all districts starting from 12 p.m. in North Side and West Bay. Return buses will depart the Lions Center at 4:15 p.m. Visit the Lions Club of Grand Cayman Facebook page for the district locations pickup. The All Islands Children Christmas Party, December 17th from 1 to 4 p.m. at the Lions Community Center.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. No callers on hold, Miss Susan? Okay, we'll do if there's a voice note, we'll do that later. I do have a WhatsApp. I have a WhatsApp question here. So one of our listeners has said now we should ask you to look at the provision for the speaker in our Constitution, and ask you to opine on how do we get rid of an ineffective and cantankerous speaker if he or she is elected, considering that provisions are made to ensure the legislature conducts its own affairs.
Okay. Let's meet to the person who sent that in.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just say this. An elected government, a government is elected right by the people, similar to the speaker. Is that correct? You agree?
Right.
A government.
That
okay.
would in the scenario that we're talking about,
Yes.
that would be
similar.
Yeah. And if the speaker is chosen from within, then he's certainly elected by the people. Yeah.
And if he's chosen outside, he's elected by the people too.
If the scenario that we're proposing, yeah.
So it's a fundamental principle of the British Constitution that an elected government must maintain the confidence of the legislature, as it is not possible for a government to operate effectively without support of the majority of the people's representatives. It would be the same for the speaker. The speaker would have to maintain the confidence of the House, to maintain his to maintain the chair. The same as elected government. And if he does not have the confidence of the House, a vote of no confidence could get rid of him the same as a vote of no confidence could get rid of a government who does not maintain the majority of the confidence of the House.
But what do we say then to those persons who would proffer the argument that if the Speaker is elected by popular vote,
so what's the difference?
Then you're going against the will of the people.
What's the difference?
By removing him.
The Speaker is elected by popular vote anyway. When he's elected by the majority of people who have been elected by the people indirectly, it's only the people who are electing him directly instead of indirectly. So you want a Speaker who, just because he's elected by the people, not to have to abide by the principles of the Constitution.
Good point.
That he must have the confidence of the House to continue. You would have a rogue Speaker forever, and would not be able to get rid of that for that Speaker. That would not fit.
So similarly, then you would then go to a by-election to elect another.
That's right.
Another Speaker.
That's right.
If the Parliament decides in a vote of no confidence, if that were to succeed.
That's right. And of course, you would have to become a Speaker. You would have to have definitions of what a Speaker qualification would have to be. You wouldn't just have anyone who say I want to be Speaker and then put his hat in the ballot, put his hat in the ballot box and then people like him. That would be terrible. You'd have to have qualification of what a Speaker should be in the Legislative Assembly to be elected directly.
But we don't have that. We don't have that for other members of the Legislative Assembly. Why the Speaker?
Well,
because you're automatically disqualifying.
No, you're not.
Some persons from
the Speaker is the presiding officer of the House, must have knowledge of the British Constitution, how it works, the standing orders, and all those things about the members of the House.
Okay.
And that is why it sets them aside.
Otherwise, it could make a mockery of
exactly
of the
a
position.
Procedure.
Yeah.
It would be a fiasco.
Okay. Now, we do have a caller on hold, but we're going to go to our headline news. Ms. Susan, you ready for us yet, or you want us to talk a little bit? We still have a few minutes to go on that. I was trying to find in Mr. Orman's book, A Special Son, and I had it just now and I lost it, so I have to find it again. When you refer to the white ball and the black ball, and he even made a reference to the gray ball, and that was by Jack Rose. And I want to share that with you, with our listening audience, so that you know that what Dr. McField is saying,
is correct.
It's absolutely, correct as well. So at some point in time, I want to share that, as well as Mr. Orman's remarks about when the Blackburn came to Cayman, and the fiasco that took place, as far as the vote was concerned in relation to whether or not we should join the Federation.
Yes, or not.
Or not, yes.
Yes.
As well. Ready for us now, Ms. Susan? Folks, top of the hour, we do have a caller on hold. We will accommodate that caller as soon as we return from our headline news. Please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
Continuing the Caymanian tradition.
Let Cora keep my ground so clean.
The heart and soul of the Cayman people. Thank you for keeping the culture alive.
There's the news every day. From East End to Georgetown, down into West Bay.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman. Your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
The headline news is brought to you by Health Services Authority.
Lawmakers are back in Parliament today after budget debates continued on Tuesday. They're heading back to session at 10 a.m., and you can watch the proceedings live on the CIG TV's YouTube channel. A new deal has been agreed to at the UN Climate Summit in Dubai after days of negotiations. For the first time, the deal calls on all countries to move away from using fossil fuels, but not to phase them out, something many governments wanted. The text recognizes the need for deep, rapid, and sustained reductions if humanity is to limit temperature rises to 1.5 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels. The COP28 president said nations had, quote, confronted realities and set the world in the right direction. Burning fossil fuels drives global warming, risking millions of lives. So far, governments have never collectively agreed to stop using them. Those are your headlines. I'm Carsley Fuller.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
The headline news is brought to you by Health Services Authority.
It's one of the best moments of your life when you welcome your baby into the world. The HSA's experienced women's health and maternity team provides the highest quality of care throughout your pregnancy and delivery. As a JCI accredited hospital, we are the leader in maternal care, safely delivering over 700 babies annually. Visit hsa.ky for more information. At HSA, we are committed to caring for you. For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. We're going straight to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome. Thanks for being so patient.
Thank you very much, Ossie. Good morning to you and good morning to Dr. Steve.
Good morning, Mr. Samamba. How are you doing? Haven't heard from you for a long time.
Well, I thought I owed you that point number one. Point number two, since I used to teach constitutional law, every time you guys start talking about that, I have to call and then sort of like try to engage you and see what you're saying.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Well, I really have it's more a general point I want to make, but let me address just one specific one. That's the one about the speaker. And I think there's a lot of views I think are good, worth considering around the speaker. In my view, that position needs to be depoliticized because it becomes then a pawn in the whole game.
Mm-hmm.
If you want a speaker to be fair,
Mm-hmm.
You need somebody who, in terms of the way they are appointed and where they come from, that must engender fairness.
Mm-hmm.
It's not enough for you to say, well, look, okay, this person came from this party, but now we'll make them speaker, and now they are going to be fair. Okay, maybe they might be, but just the appearance of it is not there. You can imagine in a court system, they won't even allow that. They'll say, no, you can't become a judge when you've been on one side. You know, it just is unthinkable. But I think it is the details of exactly how to deal with that which are very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
One of them, which I think you was discussed with the Venerable Mr. Arden McLean, I think if I remember correctly, he was talking about the experience of the speaker. That, you know, how do you appoint somebody who is not experienced? Now, I have a problem with that because having worked in government different governments for a long time, I just find that you don't need much experience to be speaker. Because as an official who worked and advised attorneys general, speakers, and so on, when these people come in, so long as they are reasonably educated and they might be an accountant, a law professor, or whatever, when they come in, you take them through orientation. This is the way this office works, and so they've got a battery of advisors, the clerk, the legal advisor, and so on. So I don't see that experience is a big issue. By the way, I can't resist saying that this is the way in which a lot of Caymanians are denied work even outside in the world. They tell you that you have got no experience. Now, in the private sector, of course, you can't make somebody managing director at the very top. You have to work your way up. But politics is different. Politics, sometimes you come in at the very top. But the removal of the speaker, I found that very interesting. I think the question you asked O.C. well, but if he's going to be elected from outside, and then how are you then going to remove the person in a resolution? Won't you have to go back to the people? Very, very valid question. And I think a lot of constitutional systems haven't found the answer to that. In America, for example, you are elected by electoral college, by the people in a sense, but they can impeach you.
They can impeach you and remove you from your office without taking you back to the people. So I'm not necessarily disagreeing with you, Ossie. I just think that these are some of the issues that have to be dealt with. But there's no point now.
Yeah, but Mr. Sabamba, have you looked at Section 61 of the Constitution? The Section 61 sets out the qualifications for elected members of the Legislative Assembly.
Mm-hmm.
As my colleague here has said that there was no, but there are qualifications to be elected as members of the Legislative Assembly, and you could set out similar qualifications. You could set out qualifications too for a speaker to be the speaker.
I think the qualifications that I was referring to, had more to do not with legal qualifications that you have to have, like be a British, Caymanian and stuff like that. I'm talking more about what should I say? Intellectual and constitutional qualifications to deal with standing orders and the history of the Constitution and our skin maze and all of those things. Yes.
Those are the qualifications you can have, but they are qualifications.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Agree.
Yes.
I am just saying. I'm just saying. Similarly, there are qualifications for them. There could be qualifications for the speaker too.
Got you.
Yeah. And sometimes those qualifications, in my view, they may be more generalized qualifications. That this must be somebody who is a respected member of the community. There might be generalized qualifications. There might, of course, you need those qualifications. Like you have to be Caymanian and so on and so forth. You have those kinds of qualifications, but you might have some other qualifications which might not entirely be the same as members of the Legislative Assembly, although they might be.
Yeah, and you would have to satisfy. The elections officer, chief election officer, whatever it is, supervising elections officer. Similar, like you have to satisfy them that you're qualified to be an elected member of the assembly, that you are qualified as a member to be elected as speaker.
Yes, and I think those would be like the basic ones, because you can't be a member of the assembly if you wouldn't be qualified to be.
Exactly.
So those would have to be the basic. And
exactly.
But let me just close on this.
Yes.
The Westminster system, is a very good system, and I think we should not rubbish it. But at the same time, we must remember that the Westminster system developed from an aristocracy. And therefore, in talking about the reform in the Cayman Islands, we must always be careful not just to adopt certain systems that exist there. You remember in the UK, some time back, I don't think they had life peers in the House of Lords. They had only hereditary peers and a few classes of peers. So, in other words, if your uncle or whoever was Lord Fullerton, then that could be inherited by somebody's lineage. And the Labour government came in at a certain time and said, no. We need to increase the number of life peers, people who are just appointed. When they are appointed, when they die, we can get somebody from out there so that, people can participate in the system. And when did they do that? Not very long ago. And then when you look at, for example, also, when did the UK system reform the judicial system? It was only really a major reform in 2005, the Constitution Reform Act, which said, hey, you can't have the House of Lords sitting as a committee of the political body, which is called the House of Lords, because where is the separation of powers?
Yes.
I mean, look, it took them all these hundreds of years for them to do that. So let's look at them as examples, but I think try to divorce ourselves from it and try to think outside the box and say, what do we need for Cayman? What works? Let's go out there and just listen to these callers and so on, other than myself, of course. Listen to the callers and saying, what are they saying about this? I think that would be a very, very good thing to do.
But,
otherwise,
Mr. Bailey,
in America, yes.
Before you go, I like your point there. I think your point is well taken there too, because don't forget what Lord Sanker said many years ago.
Yes.
The Constitution is a living tree. It's like a living tree.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to trim it, and sometimes you have to let the branches grow. That is what people do not understand about constitutions.
And
they're
that's why
only
the court
made to
was-
suit the time, the era, and sometimes they become obsolete just the next day, according to some circumstances that it develops.
That's why, Dr. Steve, as you know better than I do, that's why even the courts, when they are interpreting a constitution, they are more liberal than when they are interpreting a regular act. Why? Because the constitution is a living constitution. By the way, in America, when they sat down to write the constitution, one of the things they decided to do, they said, we don't want to do a lot of the stuff they are doing in the UK. They use that as a starting point. We want separation of church and state. We want certain things. And so I think, in a sense, Cayman has to do the same. Thank you for giving me
But just before you go, there's a very interesting case that a judgment just came down a couple of days ago.
Yes.
About the Money Laundering Act. And the judgment was given by a judge called the Honorable Justice MacDonald Bishop from the Court of Appeal of Jamaica, but she sat here as a Grand Court judge. And the point you just made, she distinguished between the law that Cayman made to rectify the law that Cayman made, Section 144A, 5A, and the British Act. And she says where they says if you have goods in your if you have goods or money in your possession, you have to not only the Crown has to prove that the offending goods, the goods which they want to confiscate, comes from a criminal activity on a specific criminal offense or other criminal offenses not specified, but there must be evidence to show. And she distinguished between the act in Cayman and the act in the UK that the Grand Court had been following all along, and separates the two and says that in the Cayman they have to prove something different from the United Kingdom, because the Caymanian has a Bill of Rights written, and it gives it also provides the rights of the owner of the money. Also, it strikes a balance. It's not one-sided like in UK. Because you have the money, you're not working. You have the money saved, and because you're not working, automatically there's a presumption that it comes from some criminal enterprise or criminal offense.
That's the sort of judge you need. That's the sort of judge
Very
you need.
interesting. Very interesting.
Yes, very interesting.
And if you if you send me by WhatsApp, you have my number. I will send you a copy of the judgment. It's very, 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 very interesting and very, very well done.
Yeah, yes, I'll be grateful to receive that. I'll communicate with you. Thank you, Dr. Steve.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Billy, as well. Ms. Susan, you want to do the voice note? There's a WhatsApp call. You want to take the commercial break first or take the caller? We're going to take the break. We will take the caller as soon as we return. Short commercial break. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
Happy holidays and Merry Christmas. 'Tis the season to be merry and healthy in the Cayman Islands. At Doctors Hospital and Integra Healthcare, we're not just a hospital and clinic with a talented group of local and international healthcare professionals. We're your partners in well-being throughout the year. So may your holidays be filled with the soothing sounds of the ocean, the embrace of good health, and a commitment to a healthier tomorrow. From all of us at Doctors Hospital and Integra Healthcare, we wish you and your loved ones happy holidays and a wonderful new year.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
Can you imagine your home completely organized? At Brand Source Custom Closets, we can. We specialize in designing and building custom closets and storage units for any room in your home, including the garage, with tailored designs and custom LED lighting solutions to fit your lifestyle and budget. Our custom closets expert is committed to enhancing the value of your home with a solution that is uniquely yours. Visit our showroom or call 623-6774 to schedule a no-obligation appointment with our design expert. Brand Source Custom Closets, 209 Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park.
You know, as a little girl, I dreamt of traveling to faraway places and foreign lands. I tell you what though, no more dreaming. I'm going flying with Cayman Airways. How blessed are we in the Cayman Islands to have a very own national airline? Girl, you can fly to so many international destinations without the hassle of connecting flights. On top of Jamaica, Cuba, and Honduras, you got non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, and even Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, and child, they now have Barbados. Going to be a little cafe con leche and Hollywood Squares for this old gal.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering non-stop flights for non-stop adventures in Panama, LA, and many more places in between. For details and to book, call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
A house isn't a home without the perfect furnishings and decor. At Robert Wood Furniture and Design, we have everything your home deserves. Shop now for incredible store-wide savings up to 50% off on sofas, beds, dining tables, and chairs. Or ask about our custom furnishing options and interior design services. Find the perfect gift ideas with accent pillows and vases starting at just $10. Lamps as low as $20. Whether it's kitchen and bathroom remodeling to flooring and window treatments, lighting, fans, furniture, and home decor, Robert Wood Furniture and Interiors has all you need this Christmas. Visit our website, robertwoodky.com. Like, follow, and share our page on Facebook and Instagram, Robert Wood Furniture and Interiors, or swing by our store at Cayman Center, Owen Roberts Drive. Wishing everyone a Merry Christmas and a prosperous and healthy New Year.
The Lions Club of Grand Cayman is pleased to present their annual All-Island Children Christmas Party, Sunday, December 17th from 1 to 4 p.m. at the Lions Community Center. Presents, games, bouncy castles, and more for children 12 and under. Busing will be provided in all districts starting from 12 p.m. in North Side and West Bay. Return buses will depart the Lions Center at 4:15 p.m. Visit the Lions Club of Grand Cayman Facebook page for the district locations pickup. The All Islands Children Christmas Party, December 17th from 1 to 4 p.m. at the Lions Community Center.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matter. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me this morning, Dr. Steve McField. We have a caller on hold. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, Mr.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you?
Good. I am good. And good morning to your esteemed guest. Dr.
Good morning,
Steve.
ma'am.
I am so happy to hear you all talking about Mr. Ormond Panton again. And I just wanted to say something regarding Mr. Ormond. Yesterday, actually, I was written a message and asked. There's a site on Facebook. I think it's called the Cayman Nostalgia page or something like that. And apparently there was a conversation going on there about the parcel of land and where the glass house is built, and about what's going on with the glass house. And somehow or the other, the question was posed to me. It just popped up. I wasn't sure what I was being asked, so I wrote and asked, what am I being asked? Anyway, so they wanted to hear my views on what was going on, if I knew what was going on with it, and what I thought should happen with it. And it has always been my feeling that the present government admin building should have been named after Mr. Ormond, because it sits on his former property. And when they were asking, what name should we give it, I thought that was very fitting. It didn't happen, but now that we have the piece of property where the glass house is, and it's my understanding that that building has to be demolished, I think that they should put a park there and call it the O.L. Panton, Ormond L. Panton, or his full name, Emancipation Park. And he should have a nice statue, a full-length statue there. They could put in, coffee shops or something like that. So I don't know if you have seen the Emancipation Park in Jamaica, but they could model it from the way that they did theirs. Mm-hmm. And to me, that would be really a nice honor to Mr. Ormond, and in my opinion, very deserving. And then no one would forget, or those who don't know could then learn who this giant was.
Well, caller, I don't like to burst your bubble, but the property that the old glass house is on was not Mr. Orman's property. Mr. Orman's property was farther up. The property in which the old glass house is on was Duque Boy's property.
No, actually it was not.
Oh, no. Mr. Orman's property was farther up Elgin Avenue. Mr. Orman's property was right behind the police barracks.
So that would be closer to where the new administration
It would be
building
closer
is.
to Pardon the Ground. The Mr. Orman house was right on the edge of Pardon the Ground. Mr. Orman house would be further up where Cricket Square is now.
Perhaps you misunderstood what I said. I said the property where the present government admin building is, that sits on Mr. Orman's former property.
Well, part of it, not all of it.
Yes, part of it. Yes.
Part of it is the old barracks, and part of it is the old wireless station.
I'm very familiar with that area. That's where I grew up. As a matter of fact, I lived on the property where the glass house is now built. So I am very familiar with that area.
But you said the glass house, but you didn't say the administration building.
Sorry, well, I said the new government admin building.
Okay, I think we can get past that now. We've all agreed in terms of where that is. Yeah.
So and also just to say that when we did have a park in Georgetown, there is a tree that was removed from that park, which is where the LA building is now, and they said that tree was planted by some member of the royal family. So they took that tree up, and that tree is now planted on the property where the glass house is, going west of the glass house. That big tree that is out there, that's what that tree is. And I remember the day they brought that tree there and planted it on that property.
So that was brought from the Princess Royal Park to there.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I forgot which member of the royal family they say planted it, but he was on a visit here and he planted that tree. And like I say, when they were going to use the park where they put the LA building, they took the tree up to preserve it and planted it on the property right there by the glass house. It would be going west, in other words, in the direction to the police station.
And that would have been in the early 70s, probably around about 1973.
That would have been in the late 60s.
Well, ma'am, I don't think the old glass house should be demolished. I think that the old glass house should be refurbished, and it should host the National Archives.
Well, again,
that is a proper building for the National Archive. It has a nice basement, a storage basement, and I think it would be cheaper to remodel that than to knock it down or to put up a new archive building someplace else in town, because a park there the place is too small for a park, really.
Well, I say that based on the stories I've heard about the mold and stuff in the basement, and that the building can no longer be occupied. Now, my idea just came from the point of the building not being able to be used. I don't know if that's factual or not, and I'm just thinking in terms of where Mr. Orman lived, and that the country has really not honored this man the way he should be honored.
Agreed. Yeah.
Yeah, agreed.
And if they're not going to do something like that for him and bring to the forefront that we did have slaves, yes, we had an Emancipation Day celebrated once upon a time, then we should give him a proper statue in the middle of Georgetown. He's earned that.
Yeah, we should have statues of all of our
them instead
heroes
of just bust.
Yeah.
Well, it needs to be put somewhere, and I'm only thinking in terms of where he lived and where he raised his children, and I'm pretty sure that a lot of Georgetowners, those who are still alive, would agree with me.
Okay. Caller, thank you. Thank you very much for that. So, This is a paragraph in Mr. Orman's book, page 132 of A Special Son by Dave Martins. And it says, speaking on a platform in front of the courthouse, Rose made it expressly clear that if Caymanians wanted internal self-government, they would have to link with Jamaica. They wouldn't get it from Britain. As Rose put it, Caymanians had a choice between the, and I quote, black ball of full internal self-government with links to Jamaica for foreign affairs and defense, or the white ball, I quote again, white ball of being a British crown colony. The grey ball of full internal self-government with links to Britain did not exist.
Yes.
So, you get full internal self-government, but you will have to link up with Jamaica if you want full internal self-government. Otherwise, there will not be any links with Britain at all, none whatsoever. And of course, the black ball was full internal self-government with Jamaica.
But that's what Blackburn said. When he said the pros and cons, that was what Jack Rose said.
Yes.
That was the lie that Jack Rose and the rest of them perpetuated to keep Mr. Ormond out from being the first chief minister, because after Mr. Ormond had run the majority of seats in the Legislative Assembly and was designed to be the first chief minister under full internal self-government.
Mm-hmm. And then, this is the other partner. This is on page 133. It says, reacting to the turmoil, Sir Kenneth Blackburn, governor of Jamaica and of its dependency, Cayman, came to Grand Cayman and presided over a public meeting at the Legislative Assembly where the matter was debated. In the course of the meeting, which took place on the 18th of January 1962, Blackburn, in the time-honored manner of British colonial diplomacy, defended Rose's statement by saying that it had been approved by the governor and the United Kingdom, in the words of the minutes of the meeting, as an admirable one, but that after coming to Cayman and hearing the discussion, he had come to realize that it was not as good as had been thought. I mean, you put things along color lines, along racial lines. There's nothing more racist than what was said. What was said there, and we accepted it. We accepted it.
We accepted it.
Goes on to say, to be fair to Blackburn, he presented the arguments pro and cons for association with Jamaica or association with Britain in a clear manner and pointed out that it was Cayman's choice to make. Significantly, without contradicting Rose directly, he put the grey ball analogy to rest by pointing out that internal self-government was possible in an association with Britain, though it was not automatic. So they changed their tune completely. This session of the Assembly produced some stirring speeches, too lengthy to be reproduced here.
I have them.
But the remarks, great. But the remarks, as reported in the minutes of the meeting, indicate that 13 speakers were in favor of an association with Britain, while 3, Ormond, Patton, Willa Farrington, and Duncan Marin, were in favor of internal self-government with Jamaica handling foreign affairs and defense. The pro-British position of most was eloquently summarized by Mr. Cradock Ebanks, the North Side representative, who said, and I quote, "It should be the endeavor of the Caymanian people to see that the Union Jack should continue to cast its shadow on the grounds from its flagpole in these islands." Goes on to say that afternoon, in an astonishing action that Patton described as, and I quote, the second of the three most undemocratic and dictatorial steps ever taken in the British Commonwealth, Blackburn decided the issue publicly, at any rate, after listening to the two opposing proponents, Roy McTaggart and Ormond Patton, each of whom summed up their propositions. The governor declared that McTaggart had drawn the most applause and therefore that position would prevail. Goes on to say, it's mind-boggling, said Ormond Patton, but that's what he did. McTaggart spoke against the linking with Jamaica and there was loud applause. I spoke in support of that linking. There was loud applause. The governor ruled that McTaggart had got the most applause and therefore that carried. People were astounded. On the way out, they kept asking, how can they decide something so important by hand clapping? How can they tell who got the most applause? It was unbelievable.
Yes.
But again, showing the docileness of our people to a certain extent. They grumbled about it, but they walked out and did absolutely nothing.
They did not say nothing about it, and allowed us to attend the London conference that year, and in a subordinate position.
Okay, we have to take a commercial break. When we return, I'm going to share a little bit more of this with you, where our national hero, the Honorable Sybil McLaughlin, who was the clerk of the Legislative Assembly at that time, let's hear her comments in relation to it as well. Folks, please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
Santa says ho, ho, ho. Ho, ho, ho! Don't miss your chance to win big this holiday season with the Rubis Pure Joy promotion. Win $30,000 to pay your bills.
Merry Christmas!
Each time you top up your tank with $25 of fuel or merchandise from Jose's 24-hour food mart, you earn another stamp. Collect 6 stamps and you're entered to win a lot of awesome prizes. You could be the lucky winner of $30,000 to pay your 2024 bills. Don't forget to share the Christmas spirit with gift certificates your loved ones can use at Reflections, Liquor for Less, Hemp and Tobacco, Food for Less, or Jose's Rubis. Now open 24 hours a day to serve you.
Merry Christmas!
West Bay Pharmacy in Centennial Towers, a compounding story.
I don't think people realize how pain creeps into your life. It has a way of robbing your strength. I really don't like taking prescription medication orally.
West Bay Pharmacy in Centennial Towers. They understand.
When it comes to compounded medication, it's personal. So whenever there's a problem with some medication or treatments that's not working right, then a physician will call me and say, hey, they're having bad side effects from this medication.
Compounding pain cream changed the game. Made special for me. Significant pain relief in the form of a cream. That is a new experience for me.
It's changed his life.
It worked.
Ask your pharmacist or healthcare provider about compounding at West Bay Pharmacy in Centennial Towers. Call 914-6449.
You know, as a little girl, I dreamt of traveling to faraway places and foreign lands. I tell you what though, no more dreaming. I go in flying with Cayman Airways. How blessed are we in the Cayman Islands to have a very own national airline? Girl, you can fly to so many international destinations without the hassle of connecting flights. On top of Jamaica, Cuba, and Honduras, you got non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, and even Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, and child, they now have Barbados. Going to be a little cafe con leche and Hollywood Squares for this old girl.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering non-stop flights for non-stop adventures in Panama, LA, and many more places in between. For details and to book, call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
Ho, ho, ho! Hi, kids! Santa here, letting you know that I can't wait to see you all again at my grotto at Bayshore Mall. I'll be there with my friends from Kirk Freeport from Monday the 18th December until Friday 22nd. I'll be there between 3 and 7 p.m. every day, except Friday, where I will be there earlier between 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. Along with sweet treats, Santa will have a special gift for every boy and girl, and there will be popcorn, cotton candy, and Christmas music filling the air. Merry Christmas! See you soon at Bayshore Mall. Love, Santa and everyone at Kirk Freeport.
Tune in every Monday through Friday at 12 p.m. for Radio Cayman's Midday Newscast. Radio Cayman, the People's Station, your trusted official source for the latest news. The 12 p.m. news is proudly brought to you by Health City Cayman Islands. World-class healthcare within your reach.
Attention Cayman Brac, Water Authority is moving. On Friday, 15th December, the authority will relocate its customer service office to the Avistar building on West Side Road to better serve you. Visit us at our new spacious location on Friday, 15th December.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matter. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, Dr. Steve McField. So here's what in Mr. Orman's book, A Special Son, written by Dave Martins, says that Miss Sybil McLaughlin, who was the clerk of the Legislative Assembly at the time, and when this book was being written, she is now the Cayman Speaker of the Legislative Assembly, that she took the notes at the meeting.
Yes.
And she's quoted as saying, "I was amazed," she said, and I quote again, "I had never heard of this happening before, and I have never heard of it happening since. To make a decision based on hand clapping. In fact, the applause was strong for both Mr. Orman and Dr. Roy. I couldn't understand why the governor was doing this." Ms. Sybil also recalls that Blackburn's actions did not cause any incident or protest. Goes on to say that the next day, the 19th of January 1962, the meeting resumed in the town hall, and in short order, the following resolution moved by Willie Farrington was passed unanimously by the Legislative Assembly. And the resolution was that, and I quote, "It is the wish of the Cayman Islands, 1, to continue their present association with Her Majesty's government in the United Kingdom. 2, to negotiate with Her Majesty's government in the United Kingdom for internal self-government, taking into account the wishes of the people of the Cayman Islands as to timing." What a travesty. What a travesty. And we continue to see it more and more as well. Any callers on hold, Miss Susan? No callers? So let's shift gears a little bit now. While we here in the Cayman Islands continue to swear allegiance, and we have to do so because we're a crown colony. Yes. We're a part of the UK. We have no other option but to do so because we have not exercised the other options. Sometimes we don't even talk about it. You want to hear it. You don't want to talk about the other options as well. But we want to talk about Bristol University in the UK and what's happening there. But before we do that, let's grab the caller. We have a caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record. Good morning, caller. No one there, Miss Susan. Okay, well, I'm going to continue. So, Guardian newspaper, Monday, the 11th of December, 2023. The headline, "The British national anthem is ponderous rubbish. If a university wants to ditch it, it's doing us all a favor." And then the question was Bristol University given into woke, I quote, woke ideology, or simply cutting the least good song from an overlong ceremony. And it says, the University of Bristol has dropped the United Kingdom national anthem from its graduation ceremony program and will now play it only when a member of the royal family is present. This seems like a polite compromise, with the anthem being the equivalent of a carriage clock that you only put on display when the person who gave it to you comes round for tea. No offense given, and everybody's happy. Of course, not everybody is happy. The Sun claimed university bosses have been accused of hating British culture and pandering to wokes. The Deputy Prime Minister, Oliver Dowden, posted on X, formerly Twitter, to ask if Bristol University are too ashamed of their British heritage. Presumably, they no longer want to be subsidized by the British taxpayer. The Education Secretary, Gillian Keegan, also weighed in, saying the universities should stand up for our British values and stop giving into woke ideology. Bristol University said nothing beyond acknowledging that it routinely updates aspects of its graduation ceremonies and noting that the decision was taken in 2020. It's possible it was giving in to, quote, woke ideology, but it seems more likely that it was simply trying to tighten up an overlong ceremony by cutting the least good songs. And let's face it, no matter its historical or cultural significance, God Save the King is not a good song. This is not my words, folks. This is the article. It plods. It goes nowhere. The first three lines end with the same word, as if no one could be bothered to come up with a rhyme for king. Obviously, this made things easy the first time they had to change it to queen, but there's no historical evidence that anyone was thinking that far ahead. The best thing you can say about the national anthem is that it's no one's personal fault. The tune is ancient. The words have been fiddled with over time, and the standard version used today is a matter of settled precedent rather than any official decision taken. It is by custom and not by law that people now hardly ever sing that belligerent middle verse about scattering enemies, the one that contains the truly terrible line, confound their politics / frustrate their knavish tricks. There isn't even a law or proclamation making it the United Kingdom national anthem, so defunding universities for refusing to play it might be legally difficult. The other best thing you can say about God Save the King is that it really sets the template for preponderous, not good anthems worldwide. The melody was nicked in the 18th and 19th centuries for the national anthem of Prussia, Bavaria, and Saxony. It's still the tune of Liechtenstein's national anthem and Norway's royal anthem. It has a different, also pretty ponderous national anthem. Switzerland used it for a century before swapping it for a better song with lyrics that mostly say nice things about the Alps. The United Kingdom's national anthem is not the only challenging anthem out there, and it goes on to talk about some other national anthems as well. Of course, here in the Cayman Islands, I give more credence and I pay homage to our national song over our national anthem as well, because the days of being someone's subject need to be over. With that, we'll take a commercial break and I'll ask Dr. McField for his comments when we return. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste? pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, K-Man.
West Bay Pharmacy in Centennial Towers, a compounding story.
I don't think people realize how pain creeps into your life. It has a way of robbing your strength. I really don't like taking prescription medication orally.
West Bay Pharmacy in Centennial Towers. They understand.
When it comes to compounded medication, it's personal. So whenever there's a problem with some medication or treatments that's not working right, then a physician will call me and say, hey, they're having bad side effects from this medication.
Compounding pain cream changed the game. Made special for me. Significant pain relief in the form of a cream. That is a new experience for me.
It's changed his life.
It worked.
Ask your pharmacist or healthcare provider about compounding at West Bay Pharmacy in Centennial Towers. Call 914-6449.
'Twas the days before Christmas in Digicel stores near and far. Stockings were hung with the best tweenie deals by far. A 27-day bundle, it was quite an appeal. With 2 gigabytes any use data, it made Roblox so real. YouTube and Disney Plus, oh what a delight. Boys and girls were entertained from morning till night. Endless messaging, a connection so dear. Staying in touch with parents, oh what a cheer. Visit a Digicel store today, where dreams come true this holiday season.
Radio Cayman News.
A man and the United Kingdom are reaffirming their relationship.
The prosecution argues that the men planned and executed to rob the bank.
DOE conservation officers recently seized 86 conch.
Like she was so proud to spend $3 on that old tacky chicken bag.
Radio Cayman. Your voice, your choice for today's biggest news.
Paramount Carpet Cayman Brack Christmas sale is back. Friday, December 15th and Saturday, December 16th. 15% off in-store tiles, carpet, area rugs, and paint. Up to 50% off select tiles and in-store products. Open Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Saturday, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Located at 342 Spot Bay Road. Join the children's Christmas party at Spot Bay Park, Saturday, December 16th, 4 p.m. to 6 p.m.
Paramount Carpet.
Deck the halls with beautiful furniture and decor without breaking the bank. Enter the Beacon Furniture Holiday Raffle and win big. That's right, shop at Beacon Furniture and you can be our next winner. With each purchase, customers have a chance to win $500 in Beacon cash. Don't miss out on this incredible opportunity to spruce up your home for the holidays. Join us on December 30th for the drawing at each location. 2 lucky winners will be chosen, one at our Savannah store and another at our Red Bay location. Each winner will walk away with $500 in Beacon credit. Don't wait, start shopping today. To learn more about the Beacon Furniture Holiday Raffle, visit our website beaconfurniture.ky or come by our stores. 2 locations, 32 Hearst Road, Savannah. Call 945-2348 or 386 Shamrock Road in Prospect. Call 943-2500. Good luck and happy shopping.
The Coca-Cola Christmas Parade is back on schedule for tomorrow, Thursday, December 14th. Radio Cayman will be bringing you live coverage throughout the parade. Starting from the Cayman Turtle Center at 5:30 p.m., come out and wave or bring the kids to meet Santa along the way. Stops include West Bay Fire Station, Governors Square, Cardinal Avenue, Windsor Park, Country and Western, and South Sound Dock. The 2023 Coca-Cola Christmas Parade, Thursday, December 14th. And stay tuned for more details of Coca-Cola's festive celebrations for the Eastern Districts.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matter. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. We're on the last leg of the show this morning. Dr. Steve McField in the studio with me. So, Doc, I'm made to understand Bristol University.
Yes.
That Miss Shara Borden, Mr. Oliver Watler, and Miss Teresa Pitcairn, they all did their law degrees at Bristol University, as well. So
well, when they go back there now for graduation, they will not hear the God Save the King anymore.
Yes.
And I wonder how many other universities will will follow suit and join Bristol University.
Okay. One of our listeners also said that they agree with you that the glass house should be refurbished and kept. The jury is still out on that. And remember now how long we have been out of that building. It spans several administrations, and they have all failed to address the issue of that. I know many in the Caribbean countries would be happy to have a building like that.
Exactly.
But the jury is still out in relation to whether or not it is cheaper to demolish it and rebuild it or to try to refurbish it, because the way that it is now, it would not pass the planning. It would not be in accord with the planning regulations because of the fire escapes and all of those issues as well. So, someone should come up with some concrete figures, or maybe they have them. They may be in, somewhere in the warehouses now filed away, but maybe an assessment has been done and figures, would have been produced in terms of what costs to rebuild as opposed costs to demolish. And of course, those costs would have changed over the years as well. But at some point in time, we need to do something about it.
Yes, that's similar to when we get a new car. We put the old car in the yard.
Yep. And let it stay there.
Until it deteriorates. And then when we start to deal with it, it's no longer useful to you or anybody else.
Yeah.
And then you have to take it and scrap it and take it down to, what's it called? Mount Rushmore.
Yeah.
So,
one more thing I'll share with you, and then I'm going to give you the mic, Doc. This was a article talking about direct elections, and someone addressed direct election of the speaker, and someone addressed it. This person by the name of Patrick Wanzer, who is certified public accountant in Indiana, and he says America should pass a constitutional amendment for the direct election of the Speaker of the House of Representatives. The Speaker is the most powerful politician for domestic policy, and the people should elect him or her directly. The Speaker would be elected by national popular vote every 4 years opposite the President. This would increase midterm election participation and insulate the Speaker from the intra-party fringe elements like the Freedom Caucus. The amendment would also require the Speaker to follow regular order. So that was an interesting.
That's very
Couldn't
interesting.
find anything in the British system in relation to
that has never happened in the British system, and that will never happen in the British system. I don't believe they will go there. Their Speaker is the Speaker was also the servant of the King. In the old days.
It was a perilous job to be a speaker.
Because you dare not carry the King's bad news up from Parliament.
Cost you your head in the Tower of London.
Exactly. That's what would happen.
And that is why the tradition now is that when a speaker has been chosen, that they actually, you see pictures dragging them to the chair. They're going there.
No one wants to become speaker. Yes.
Oh, all right, Doc. I want to give you, we have about 6 minutes left, give you an opportunity to talk about some of the things that you may want to talk about or anything.
What I would like to say is that, Mr. Frederica, I was fortunate to have spent my early years growing up in Georgetown before the economic boom robbed a generation of Caymanians of their innocence. I have lived through significant parts of the Caymanian history. Cayman is as it is with various other countries, hides part of its history that we are ashamed of, the parts that are not flattering in the present forms. There are some of us that we are aware of the fragmentation that the scars on our social and political environment have caused, and the lies and assumptions perpetrated by the newly told narrative of who we are. These assumptions and the half-told stories also seems to have the effect of being embedded in our subconscious, thus blunting our realities. So many sociologists and anthropologists have stated that to constantly adopt the single story of a people is to shut down the whole truth of who they are, thereby causing cultural stereotype boxes. When there is no interest pushing to change traditional negative politics, there will be no upward movement. And that has been said by some of the great sociologists of the day.
Mm-hmm. Very, very well said. Very well said. I had the opportunity last night, the pleasure to be at a function recognizing the retirement of Miss Debbie Webb Sibley's.
Yes.
And I spoke briefly about the legacy of the Webb family in the Cayman Islands. And Doc, I spoke to family members, and I think they're in the process of documenting things that they should write about the legacy of the Webb family in the Cayman Islands and the impact that they have had on the Cayman Islands. I can think of no other family with no Caymanian connections originally that we know of. You know, we have, some of the other Caymanian families that were, in other jurisdictions and came back and made their contributions to the Cayman Islands. But when O.B. Webb came here and started his business, look at what that family has produced for the Cayman Islands. Doctors, lawyers, teachers, heads of department, permanent secretaries, everything.
Entrepreneurs.
Yes, entrepreneurs. I can think. And some of them were talking about, on Smith Road, that was almost all the Webbs to a certain extent. They were all, in one huge one area there. I can think of no other family, and I stand to be, contradicted on this. And if anyone, wants to challenge it, I welcome them to. But I cannot think of any other family with no original roots to the Cayman Islands making such a vast contribution to the Cayman Islands.
And they came here between 1949 and 1950. That's when they actually came. The Webb first came first.
Okay, yeah.
1949-50. And then he brought his family here in 1950. And they actually live on North Church Street. They lived behind Mr. Arthur Borden Printers.
Okay.
Printery. In a little road behind there. There's a little shop behind there now.
Oh, yes. Between that building that Mr. Norbert Thompson built and Mr.
Yeah, in the back there.
Yeah, okay.
That's where they lived. And they had a little old car that used to go down there with the rumble seat in the back. And they started their barbershop. They started their tailor shop. And their cleaners. And one of my first jobs was working there on Saturdays pressing.
Wow.
Using the pressing pants. That's why you see me so
that stuck with you, huh?
Yeah. I could press soft, what they call a soft seam or a hard seam.
Okay.
For Doc Duke and Merritt and all of those people, I would press up their stuff and they would come and pick it up. And I would make 2 shillings and 6 for the Saturday. But I would buy me a shilling malted milk from a Storm parlor store, a 6 malted milk and me, and a shilling for the Berkeley Theatre, and a shilling for popcorns and sandwiches when I go into the theatre and so forth. And that's how they started. One of the first tiles that were laid here was laid by Peter Webb. When Rex Wright started to make the tile factory. And that first tiles were laid here was in Mr. Charlotte Christian house in Lower Valley.
Okay.
Right next to, across from where Jim Borden's house is. I remember that.
Yeah.
And when they came here, they were riding all bicycles. And then they moved to cars, and then they moved into different businesses and so forth. And even when I came back from college, from university, and I went to get sworn in as a lawyer. The judge would not swear me in that morning because he thought I was a web and I was not. I didn't have Cayman papers. That's the truth. My mother and my father was sitting in the court, and he said, no, I had to prove I was Caymanian.
Wow. Mr.
Orrett Connor was in court that morning and jumped up and went in the witness box and swore on the oath that I was Caymanian and that my family was sitting in the court there to see me get sworn in.
Amazing.
I mean, yes. I mean, the history here is so fascinating that it's unbelievable. I ran with those Webb brothers. I'll tell you another story. We bought an old car from West Bay. 4 of us, me, Billy Webb, Billy Webb, and Peter Webb, and one of the other Webbs. And we brought it in the Webb's yard up on Crew Road, across from Con Lemuel's house.
Right. Yes. Uh-huh.
And we heisted up and put up on drums, and took out the engine and cleaned it up and fixed it up, and we got it started. And she didn't have any muffler, but we had to try to make a muffler for her. And in those days, we were going on to the bathhouse, and Billy Webb then was driving, and he was courting Alva Smith, one of Alva Smith's daughters, one of the twins. And he wouldn't take us with him, myself and Bob Webb. And we decided to get into the trunk of the car secretly. And we just had a little opening so we could get fresh air. And when he got down to Mr. Inkle gas station, he stopped there to get gas. And Mr. Inkle says to him, "Sonny, your trunk open, you know?" And Mr. Inkle shut the trunk. With the both of us inside the car trunk. And we went down to the bathhouse. And we start sweating. And he had parked the car. We start knocking. We were lucky that Mr. Ira Thompson was parked in the same spot near the car and heard the knocking, and came and opened the trunk and let us out. Otherwise, we would have died in the back of the car that night. And nobody would have known that we had that until we had to start to smell.
Wow. Folks, another escapade of Dr. Steve McField. Another story that we've heard as well. I want to thank everyone who participated this morning. I want to thank Dr. Steve McField. I want to remind you, we're in a holiday season of giving. You should consider those who need, not necessarily those who want or even those who crave. I encourage you to continue to support your radio station, Radio Cayman. Join Sterling Dwayne Banks at 12:15 for Talk Today. And as usual, we ask the good Lord to bless these 3 beautiful, wonderful Cayman Islands.
For the Record, proudly brought to you by
Coca-Cola, available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga Distributors. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury. And JN Money.
From abroad to yard.
Fast, affordable, convenient. Doctors Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066. And Cayman Airways, call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And now, Barbados. And Digicel, Cayman's bigger, better network.
Follow Radio Cayman on Twitter. All the latest information, breaking news, community events, and more. Follow us at twitter.com/Radio Cayman.